Probably someone joins, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess get on your phone.
Yeah, go ahead.
And say, I don't know how to. Okay, it says live now.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. And I think that person viewing is probably you.
Yes.
Is it laggy at all?
Yeah, my phone's shutting down now. Recording popped in.
Hey, CRSW. We had a massive technical issue with the previous live stream. So I set up this one, and hopefully you can hear and see me, because that would be a massive upgrade from the show that was just put on. So can you hear and see me? Yes, and thank you, BS Small Engines. We downloaded the video thing that you recommended, and everything's working now. The other one was just weird. Weird. So how are you guys doing tonight? Yes, that XSplit thing was just all it was screens that went back to other screens. I could see myself on it, but when I did, it would make the YouTube thing crash. I hate computers. I don't know anything about computers. I wish I could just do this on my phone, but at least now it's working, so we got to figure it out. Any new machines? I went and looked at a older Lodge and Shipley lathe. I just went. We went for a day drive through the small towns in the area and looked in people's backyards and stuff. And there was a Lodge and Shipley sitting on a trailer. So we went and talked to the guy, and I gave him my phone number. It was his friends who was leaving it there. He seemed like he wanted it gone. It's an older flat belt driven, but it has a more modern drive setup than some of the older ones that are powered with truck transmissions and stuff like that. So still waiting to hear back from him. He said something about having to change his phone plan or anything before he called his friends. So the thing with people like phone or fines like that, you don't want to go back and endlessly harass them. So we'll see. Hopefully, I have nothing else for. If I can get the lathe for the price I offered him, I needed a tailstock for the Reed Prentice, the 14-inch. A base I can make, no problem. But I need a tailstock to mount to the base. So, if nothing else, it'll be a base for that, for the tailstock part. So, BS Small Engines, did you get those hub centers welded in? AG Bound, yep. Found we downloaded an entirely different streaming thing. And that's what it took to fix it. So, and we're also on a different computer. So, yeah, StreamYard, that's what we're on now. The other one, and there's Rick. Hey, everyone's joining. Nice, nice. Yeah, as soon as we changed to this streaming thing, everything fixed itself. That other one was just not good. And the other computer is ancient. I'm surprised it's not Steam driven. It's that old. So yeah, it'd be cool if I can pick up that Lodge and Shipley lathe for a tailstock and other parts. Again, the ways they had that like, not like rust, but like brown color to them. The carriage moved back and forth. I couldn't move the cross slide or the compound. I didn't put a whole lot of pressure on them either because I didn't want to break a lathe I was looking at in someone's yard. So, but I'm sure they would probably free up. It's probably from the. It's hard to say. I don't know Lodge and Shipley's that much. Just some of the bigger ones. Then there was a 19-inch LeBlond in Puyallup for $2,000. It came with some nice stuff, but yeah, very light surface rust and almost like it was almost like a staining, like someone had covered it in a thick protective oil, because it wasn't. The ways were smooth, but just brown. But it wasn't really pitted or anything. There was a few oopsies where people had ran the carriage into the chuck. Oh, you heard about the LeBlanc? Did you see that oil-filled well one? That was 200,000. I think that was over in the Seattle area. That's a little out of my price range. But I had a 12-inch bore through the chuck. Yes, when you need a 12-inch bore, you need a 12-inch bore. Have you seen that one guy selling it's a Lion for $1,500, and he says it has broken gears, but you can get the gears to fix it for $1,800. But he's never ran it and doesn't know if that's all that's wrong with it. I called him today, and he was pretty firm on his price. So I think he's just trying to get back what he paid for it. And I've never heard of a Lion brand. It's foreign made. They said you can still get parts for it. Oh, yeah, you called him? Yeah, I did too. And he was very firm on price. And very weird about helping to load it. He said he had a forklift there that he could help, but we were in charge of the loading, which seems weird to me. And you have to work on the big 22 inches going well. I'm hoping to have it all together this week. I got to take the quick change gearbox back off it because I forgot to put a set screw that goes in the very back of it. So I got to take it off anyway. And we'll mount the other gear stuff and all the shafts on it. The only thing I need to check is to see if I can mount the carriage and the apron before I put the 3 lead screw and the feed screw and the clutch and brake lever, and just see if I can do that after I install the apron. On my Hypermac, I couldn't do that. You had to take the apron off first because the way it kind of very weirdly captures the lead screw. But I have enough room in front of the 22 inch. I can slide them all the way in from the end through the gears and all that. So ideally, I would do that. Because I got all the parts for the carriage and the tabor attachment and all that are all on a board. So I'd like to reduce the number of random parts that are here, so I really need to put that together next. So I think, and then there's an extra, here, let me grab it real quick. Okay. It came with 2 of these hangers, support hangers. This bigger one's for the lead screw, this is for the feed screw, and this hangs on the carriage. It came with 2, and they are exactly identical. And when I got the lathe, he had extra parts for it. So I need to see if both of them are for this, or if the other one's extra. That's the unfortunate part with some of the bolts and the little parts, is he said someone gave him some extra little parts for it. So that is making it I don't need more to set that down there. I don't need more little parts to have the lathe put together. There's a bunch of little stuff. I'm like, oh, I wonder where that went. So the taper is probably a 4 or 5, I had to guess, on the 22 inch. On my other one, I don't know because I don't have the tailstock for it. I think it's a 4 inch or 4 taper. Yeah, because it's about 1.5 inch opening, if I had to guess. Actually, it's about 1.75 inches. So yeah, just from looking from here. I got most of the lathe 16 by 60. I could find comparatively lots of manuals and parts breakdowns for 16 and 18 inch reeds, but not much. The sad part is when you look up 22-inch reed Prentice on Yahoo. Most of what's on there now is the stuff I've put out for videos. So there's just, I can't find anything. I looked at all the normal sources, Vintage Machinery site and all that. I can find stuff about the manufacturer, but a very specific parts breakdown would be nice. But it's, all lathes are kind of the same. There's just, like, for example, there's stuff like this, and it's really small. It's got a spring held in there. I'm like, I wonder where that goes. I guess we'll see. It's the little things that are going to be irritating to find where they go. But at least I'll know the machine, and we'll be able to do a kind of comprehensive thing for people that need help stuff goes. Yeah, there probably just aren't as many 22-inch swing lathes out reeds as there are 14s. The 16s and the 18s is a lot on those. They must have been the popular size. I'd actually like to find another reed, just for parts and nothing else. They show up a lot. Well, not a lot, but they do show up over here. There's also down the street where I looked at that Lodge and Shipley, a guy had a probably 35-ton press, and there was a Camelback drill press, the one smaller size than mine. And I thought about stopping and knocking on their door. And probably still do that. Yeah, those are 14 and 16 are good sized home shop lathes for homeowners or people with a small shop, because you can do a lot of work on them, and they aren't typically super heavy. Big thing is, a lot of people have single axle trailers, and you can haul one of those on a single axle trailer. Then too, the motor size with them, with a lot of that size lathe, you stay in the 5 horsepower range. Of course, I used to put 5 horsepower 240 motors and everything I had. It was never lacking for power. I had the Tide had a 3, and it still has a 3. Yeah, always wanted to have one long lathe. So this will be at 10 foot between centers. This will be all, realistically, I could, looking at the headstock, the pump shafts I could stick through there if I had to. There's a guy in town, well, a couple towns over, has a lathe that's 20 by, it's at least 4 foot longer than this one. It's a little older. But where I'm going to put this, the 22-inch in the shop, it's already going to half block a door. So my shop's long and narrow. So I'm going to put it across the back. Yeah, 10 or 12 foot is plenty long for 99% of jobs. Excuse me. So yeah, so hopefully we'll hear back about that lodge in Shipley this week. I'm making a stand for the big grinder, so there'll be probably 2 videos soon. I'm putting it on a base and moving it to the front of the shop to strip all the paint off it. Thankfully, the paint's mostly coming off it on its own, so it should be. It's not really that big, so. Motor shafts. I do motor shafts for really shallow turbine pumps, water turbine pumps. Not any deep ones. I think most of them are from the pump up through the motor, because the motor shafts are top nutted on the ones I do. They go down through the middle of the motor. I think they're about 8 foot, because they're 200 horse motors. And they take them they have one of their guys is a pump guy. So he takes the pumps apart and he does the silica bronze welding on the impellers to do the buildup for the wear. And if there's any damage on the shafts, I do the buildup and return them. Every once in a while, I don't know how they end up doing it, but we'll flip the shaft completely over and I'll thread and cut a keyway into the top. That's about the longest stuff I do. I don't do a lot of those. I've turned some hydraulic rams a few times. I like doing pumps too. I mess up with pumps a lot at work, so. At work we have bigger ones. We have 1,000 and 15 horsepower, 1,500 horsepower. They're easy to rebuild. Even the dripless ones aren't any big deal. So any of you guys watching? Any of you guys have any machines on the horizon that'll be coming to your shops? Oh, yeah, I do work for a motor place just doing weld buildup on shafts, which I should probably show more of. It's not very interesting, and a lot of people have showed those videos, but it's really easy. And I do in bells sometimes. One place, he gets all of his pump motors and pumps used, so sometimes I'll turn down the rotor shafts to fit the pumps he has. And I turn a lot of the small farms in here will change what they grow, so I'll trim the pumps to get the output that they want. And a lot of that is they bring it in let's take a 1/2 inch off the diameter and see how that works. And they'll bring it back. Let's take another 1/4 inch. It's not very scientific. Where they're telling me to take off, we need 178 thousandths off this. They're like, just take off some and we'll see how it works. I also get asked to turn brake rotors a lot, but I don't do that. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's on the agenda for this week. Get some more stuff cleaned, get most of the lathes put together. I've been tinkering on the sandblasting cabinet more and more. I'm going to get one of those dust collecting bag setups for the back of it. I'm not going to push it through the wall. I'm going to have a self-contained unit I can plug in. Yeah, a lot of the brake places, the auto parts stores over here have stopped doing brake turning. They always claim they're too busy. And hopefully, a couple weeks, the phase converter will be here. You can really start some projects. I got to run some wiring and eliminate some wiring and change my panel up a little bit. My 3-phase panel. Oh, there'll be a video on the surface grinders this week. I need to make a modification to it. The guy I got it from had gone through the machine and did an excellent job. Repainted everything, made new parts, but he didn't assemble I call it a drip apron part correctly. So the table only goes not even halfway across it. So I'm going to fix that. It'll be super easy. And I got to clean the drip pan or the chip tray for the reed. Probably won't show that because that's not going to be super exciting. And hopefully, mid next week, we'll have the head on the vertical milling machine. Going to change out the gear and just have to drill 2 new holes from what it looks like and from what I measured. If not, it's going to be bolted permanently straight up and down, and I'll be done with it. Because what I do, that's all I needed to do. But I think everything will work out with the gear for tilting the head side to side. And even if I couldn't tilt it side to side, I could still knot it, back and forth. But I gotta see what my motor guy wants to rewind it. He says they don't typically rewind motors smaller than 40 horsepower because they cost compared to new. I dropped it off Wednesday, and he's going to take a bunch of measurements and see if he can find me a different motor that has the same face. And then I'll put it in the lathe, and I'll turn the keyway, the snap ring retainer. And then the gears for the Hydromac, and everywhere I look in the shop, there's projects, mini projects. And then my main commercial lawn care place is dropping off all their big equipment tomorrow or Tuesday. So I got to go through it for the season. The 15, yeah, that's what my secondary phase converter is going to be. If I can see it, it's a 15. And I will use that to power most of the things with that kit I ordered. They'll still be on off. And use the 40 horse for everything else. I get welders sometimes, the old SA 200s. There's a lot of those in this area. And the Rangers. We have the Kohler motors in them. I need to put the Kohler Command 25 motor into my gas-powered welder. Get it back up and running. I didn't see the 21 I saw. There was one in Idaho. The guy was trying to get 600 for it. I think that was only 7.5 horse. Yeah, lawn mowing season is coming up, so there's going to be some big mowers in here. Going through bearings. I do a pre-season complete inspection for my guys. And then I got a water-cooled 25 horse fuel injected Kawasaki. I need to rebuild, so that'll be coming soon. I don't work on boat. I'll clean the carburetors for people, my ultrasonic cleaner, but I don't work on boats for people. Don't work on boat. I don't just don't work on them enough, and it's a boat, so I don't want to do something to it, and they take it out on the river, and then it dies, and then leave them displeased. But I'll clean carburetors and stuff, and I got a lot of people that just drop off carburetors. I sharpen a lot of mower blades too. I sharpen a lot of chainsaw chains. Hedge trimmers. I sharpen a lot of hedge trimmers. The parts places around here don't like to sharpen them because they just like people to buy new ones. Trimmer blades are kind of expensive, especially if like a steel. Also, at the beginning of farming season, people be pulling out tractors for the first time. I usually get most of my hydraulic cylinder rebuilds in the spring, and not so much bushings and stuff. That's all in the fall. I do a lot of hydraulic cylinders in the spring. Yeah, stores have stopped doing a lot of stuff in house. It seems. What kind of washers? Oh, and Rick, I got a question for you. If you're still here, because you have a read as well. Oh, making washers. Oh, okay. I was thinking washing machines. I get washing machines in here. I get dryers. I've had people drop off dryers for me to change the belts in. Okay. Rick or anyone else who would like to join in. I got these two things with the reed, the big one. They're homemade. They're just made out of a socket. And I assume there's some kind of spanner tool. You see, they're different sized. Looks like some kind of drive tool. But there's nothing on the machine that these index with, really. There's nothing with 4 holes in it, or 2 holes that these would kind of catch, or like nubs that would go in here, and these would hit the side of it. And he made these for something on this, I assume. You see they've been welded and ground, but they're just sockets. And the only reason I really wonder is he made a point of making sure I had these when I left. And I thought they fit the there's a washer. Hold on. I'll get back. There's some washers inside the gear train or castle nuts. That are held on the ring like this. But see, I thought they fit. Sorry, this computer's backwards. Yeah, this is my right hand. See these nuts? There's some of these inside of the headstock, which he did go through, and this is the retainer for the lead screw. So I was thinking it went in there, but they're both. I don't know how I put together. It'll catch on one side, of course, but it won't catch. And this is the bigger one. It won't go on there. So that's what I thought it was for. But looking through all my parts, there's this nothing. This is what they look like. And he wanted to make sure I had both sizes too. Now he could have been misremembering. Yeah, if you have any idea what that might engage. Because looking at the quick change gearbox, it has one of those engages on a 5x5, but I just cannot figure out what these are for. And it could be on the apron. I'll have to look, but there's this. None of the parts I have on the bench do these interact with in any way that I found. That's again one of the reasons I'm going to get the apron on tomorrow or the next day. I start eliminating some of this stuff. So yeah, hopefully find out what those are for. Or maybe here he already, because he gave me some other tools. See, there's one handy here. He made some custom tools for knocking out taper pins and some other stuff. So maybe they're a tool he made and used and he doesn't need them anymore. So yeah, we'll definitely be getting that apron in there. And then also, the stuff he gave me a taper attachment for another lathe, but it's only the long part with the swivel end. It doesn't have the cross slide part or the bed clamp. So I'm not sure why he had it. And also, I want to get the offset bracket, that thing I showed earlier, or oh, you mean the one I showed you last live stream? No, I did not. I looked and looked everywhere on that other machine, and I cannot find. I mean, I went everywhere. I with a mirror. I took some covers off. No matter where I looked, it would not. Nothing was missing anything, and everything on the machine works. The headstock turns, all the shafts turn, everything locks in, but it's the same color as the lathe, so it's concerning. But again, if it was, and what I think it might be, I was looking at it because it had the screw through one part. I was wondering if it was part of the adjustment for the tailstock. That might be the only part of it that's left. That's the only thing I could think of. It looked like a clamp. Then I got to thinking of it. It might be what the internal part of the tailstock. But I looked and looked and looked and looked and cannot find anything missing. And I even called the guy because he has some other stuff for sale, and I brought it up, and he's like, it came with it. So the guy I got it from never had the machine fired up. So, but everything works on it, so it must not be super critical. I really need to get a manual for that machine. Hey, Gillen, thanks for joining us. Oh, you're actually not terribly late. The first live stream of today was a mockery of live streams with no picture and sound. So we started a second one. Yeah, they always come with random parts. And when the lathe is together, that's not such a big issue. But the big lathe is like, he's like, oh, here's all these parts that I got with it. I'm like, no, I just want the parts to rebuild it. It's coming together nice, and it's going to paint up well. I've got some training classes for work coming up as well, which I do not care for. The kind of classes we have are all, they're just trying to sell our district something. So. The bracket has the tapered side. Might be a lockout. Is the tapered part you have, does it resemble that piece I showed? Oh, you're still turning the hub? I tried to watch a little bit of your live stream yesterday, BS Small Engines. The one where you had the multiple people on there. So I caught some of what you had done with the hub. But I was playing it over my speakers in my shop, and one of the people on the panel, there's a lot of noise coming through. So I did see you showed that. Well, yeah, I never thought it could be a lockout. If it goes to the machine, I would like to find where it goes on the machine, have it all together. I didn't actually look at this. I don't know if I looked at the steady rest. I did not look at the steady rest, so I will look at that. I think I'm not even sure if the bottom clamps on the steady rest right now. I need to find it. Stuff is around the shop right now. Excuse me. I try to. My next big machine I'd like to get is a smaller radial arm drill. That would be a machine I would honestly use a lot in my shop. I make these adapter plates for a diesel mechanic shop, or just customizing. He does for diesel trucks and Jeeps to put change motors, or I don't know what he does with them. Well, he gives them to me. He has someone else cut them out. Then I locate, tap, or drill and tap the holes. And on even a small radial arm drill, I'd be able to clamp it all and do even multiple plates. The plates are 3/4, but it would greatly help with that. Plus, I like drills. So. That's what I was thinking too. That might have slipped over a gear or something. But I just cannot find anything. No, I don't need a huge radial arm. I know there's one I could get for free that's bigger than A-bombs. It's bigger than Brian's. It's probably one size bigger than Brian's. It's sitting on 2 semi-flatbed trailers right now. And I could get it for free if I could get it unloaded and set up. And it has drill bits starting at 1 inch up to 4.5 or 5. There's just tons and tons of drill bits with it. But I could not power that in my shop, obviously. The base I would need to pour for it would be huge. I would have to put it in my driveway. And I'm in a pseudo residential area, and I'm sure the city would have something to say about that in my driveway. So if I could just find a smaller one, that'd be fine with me. For like flattening the blocks and heads, yeah. I know people that surface their engine blocks on a shaper. My surface grinder will do as big as most stuff I work on, which is small engines. Oh, the rack for your lathe. You'll just have to look. I had a lathe similar to yours a long time ago, and the rack was missing off of it. And I used to have a bunch of junk machines out at my old place, and the rack off of it was on a drill press. It was a It was a foreign-made one, had the hand crank to raise the table. And the rack was the same width, same pitch for the gear, for the teeth. And all I had to do was weld it to a piece to drill holes in and mount it. So is this going to be something you're just going to have to keep an eye open for? Because those racks they never show up. You could have one made, but it probably costs more than getting another lathe. But yeah, just keep an eye open for any trashed out drill presses. Yes, I put my mailbox on it. I thought about putting a flag on it and calling it a flagpole. Then I was like, oh, I'll just do it. It's easier to ask, forgiveness than permission. Maybe paint it the same color as my house so you wouldn't be able to see it if you drove by. Actually, I could probably put it in my backyard, porta pad for it. So if I ever go to sell my house, I'll put that in the listing. 3-bedroom, single car garage, shop, huge radial arm drill press. Yes, I did, and I meant to respond to you. Yes, I could use that pulley. I really like that red lathe you have. I think it looks cool. I meant to actually respond to you that day. I got a guy who's been helping with a wiring thing for like the past 2 weeks. So every time I get online, check my email, I got a message from him. This is a complicated wiring thing. He wants to use remote contact switches as well as a drum switch. I think I got to figure it out though. It's going to take some extra wiring, but I wish it was that easy. I wish I could just put solar panels up. I will do that, Rick. And then Gbound, give me your message me, or I'll put my email address is B Adam, so BADAM 485 at yahoo.com. Email me your address, and I'll get that faceplate on its way this weekend. This coming Friday or Saturday, probably. So yeah, we're doing that this week. Working on my power setup for the incoming phase converter. Doing some wiring, getting the wiring situated for that Delta DP220 drill press we're restoring. It's almost done. I'm waiting for bearings for that. There's going to be a whole episode on bearings. Those ones with the notches, and then like I talked about last time, me making those custom ones. I have them all ordered, just waiting for them to show up. I've had a lot of questions and comments about the quill head bearings and all that for that, so that is on my list of to do. No, I've never seen that kind of mower here. This area is a big Toro and Skag area. I work on a lot of Toros and a lot of Skags. Some Ferris diesel mowers have showed up recently. And X marks before Toro bought them. But awful lot of Skags. A lot of Skags. I'll keep that in mind. Actually, what would be handy, G-Bound, is there's a couple here, in a couple months I'll be looking for more machines again. If I need one close to your area, I mean like in your same town or whatever, that you could look at for me, that would be handy. As long as I don't have you look at it and then you buy it out from under me. That's not how that works. You look at it and tell me how good it is. Because it's getting to the point from over here, I'm going to have to start driving to the west side of the state or Idaho to find machines. Because I'm starting to get pickier about the machines I need, or because to cover the wants and needs for the shop. So to be able to pick out the machines I need, I'm going to have to start driving. Try to stay within a 6-hour range if I can. Okay, cool. Very cool. That'd be most appreciated. The Navy base is in Idaho. I used to buy stuff from Fort Lewis all the time when they had auctions. Now this is my ignorance of the Navy and stuff, but Idaho doesn't border an ocean. So are there Navy bases in Idaho? I would assume they were all in port cities, but yeah, Fort Lewis used to sell. I used to buy a lot of stuff out of Fort Lewis from government liquidations. I used to buy a lot of stuff out of the nuclear power plant by me, but they really changed their security setup about a decade ago. Well, actually, probably longer than that, probably 15 or so years. Oh, okay. I've only known one person who was in the Navy, and they train. I believe what he did, or what it was his boy. They trained in the room that they pumped the water and stuff in for like damage control, and they turn off all the lights and stuff like that. I think that's what he taught. Actually, from what I understood a while ago, he was getting out, and they offered him some kind of huge cash bonus to stay in for another year because to train replacements or something like that. worked out at the nuclear plant, or the other thing about the nuclear plant being close by is they send a lot of stuff to the auctions around here that's brand new or barely used. Hey, Rail 9222. My shop is in the Tri-Cities. It's in Kennewick. So the southeast corner of the state. Oh, cool. Yeah, is it still? I know a couple welders that work out there. Yeah, and if I find like a must-have machine that's in great shape and is perfect for me, I would drive a day. Oh, very cool. Where are you driving from to get to Montana? I don't know enough people to have people leapfrog stuff up here to me. Plus, I would feel bad. I know people would volunteer and they'd be happy to do it and stuff like that, but that's cool. Yeah, it'd be nice is to be able to buy like two machines. If I'm going to go buy a machine in that area, is to line up like two machines because the trailer I use can haul 14,000 pounds. And go like get like two at a time to kind of save gas in the trip. There's a guy in, I think it's in Portland, or it may not be. He always advertises on Craigslist selling all the lathe chucks. I don't know how his prices are sitting, but I'd like to get a hold of him. Very true, very true. Oh, coming from Portland? It's quite a drive, Portland to Montana. I've never been to Montana. I don't travel very far. I live 20 minutes from the Oregon border, and I've probably been to Oregon 10 times in my life. It's been so long since I bought a new chuck, I couldn't even tell you what they cost anymore. I know the wrecking yard here takes the chucks off the machines before they put them in the yard. Which is unfortunate. Yeah, I've been clearing some stuff out to make room too. I need to make a welding table, but I might just keep it outside. And it'd be a small welding table, probably 4x6, then with a graded area with some gantry planking on the end. Oh, Speaking of welding, that welding positioner I have, I got a motor for it. So I just need, when I have the extra money, probably in a couple weeks, I'll order that VFD for it. And that'll be back up and running. I have 2 people that are interested in it. So I don't know if it'll stay in the shop. But it's a nice unit. I could sell it and get 2 other machines. I'd be more than happy to do that. Because that's been sitting out there. Well, the day after the video where I couldn't get it working, I moved it outside. I was like, I'm done with this for a while. Yeah, I did find a motor. It's just it's not C-phase, but I found one that'll fit and that I can mount in there, no problem. That's 3-phase. Oh, cool, yeah. Cutting through weld is not fun, especially on a smaller lathe. Are you still grinding most of it off? Because that'll really help. That'll really, really help. Oh, you're in Oregon City? I'm not sure what part of Oregon City or Oregon that is. I'm not well versed in Oregon. I know where Bend is, because when I bought my a number of years back, I had a 2.5 ton military truck. That's where I went to go pick it up. Was that a bit? No, it was Medford, Oregon. Oh, you live there too? Oh, so Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I didn't watch a single second of it. And I don't watch a lot of football. I'm plugging the charging cord from the computer. I've only been to the west side of the state probably three or four times my entire life. You live in Alaska? I wanted to live in Alaska when I just got out of high school and stuff, but I like the dry and I like the heat. So I do not know who Jim Zorn is. I've never really watched football or baseball for that matter, or really any sport. My brother was in that stationed in Alaska for his stint with the Air Force at Elmendorf Air Force Base. Oh, then you'll be in Montana full time? I had a question I was going to ask you guys about a tooling, but now I don't remember what it was. Now it's bothering me. I will think of it the second the live stream is over. The shipyard's there in Bremerton. In the RV parks, yeah, there's a lot of RV parks in the area. I've actually, in the last 4 or 5 years, have built quite a few of them. It's not the most exciting place to visit here. There's not a lot going on. And my sister's husband owns a business. They do work in Bremerton at the shipyards and in Virginia. He sandblasts the ships, the insides of them, before they turn them into artificial reefs. Kind of an interesting job. There is okay fishing here when the salmon are running. Hunting, yeah, you have to go a ways away. There's so many hunters out here now. They used to give tours of the nuclear plant here, but I don't know if they do that anymore. Or they only do it during select times. That's kind of, I'd like to see that. That'd be interesting. There's a lot of hunters in this area. I haven't been hunting in a while, but every place close by, it's just, once the sun comes up, it's just a sea of orange vests everywhere. You have to drive, a couple hours away until it starts thinning out. Messenger thing. Yeah, that would be cool to see. I did get some stuff at a yard sale this weekend, but it wasn't worth doing a video over. It was not. It was an oil can and a hammer. And then rearranging the Lawson wall to pretty substantially once I get some stuff moved so I can do it. Try to consolidate it into go taller again. The big thing is to get the grinder on the cart this week, because as soon as the apron's on this guy, because you guys are sitting on the 22-inch reed, as soon as the apron's on, I need to get it back in its position because it's taking up a third of my shop. Because it's in the middle of the shop, so I can't work left or right of it, and it's that long, so I need it moved. I almost purchased a ladder that they use like in the Home Depots, where when you step on it, the springs push the feet pads down. Because there's plenty of room on these walls to go higher. Then again, then the ladder takes up space. So I don't mind getting up on a smaller ladder. But then you can't see it, but up here, the rail for the garage door is keeps me from opening some stuff. Yes, I heard it's going to get cold. I'm not looking forward to that, but how big is your shop? I've never actually measured it. I know it's slightly L-shaped. I want to say it's 30 feet wide in this narrow part, and it's 80 feet long, if I had to guess. Yeah, because the reed is 15 feet. So one reed, two, I could probably do one, two, yeah. No, it's probably 60. Probably closer to 60. And then it gets to about 35 feet for the last, 25 feet of it. I should actually measure it. That'd be a good thing to know. I actually like to go up. The back part, my shop's attached to my house. The back part of the shop is not. So I'd like to actually move the whole back of the shop up one level and put a top area for storage and stuff like that. That would really free up some room down here. Yeah, that's an option too. I really wish my shop was 2 foot taller, especially the main door. It's bigger than my shop was in Benton City. You can never have too tall of a shop, especially when it comes to the door. Oh, if you guys will excuse me for just 1 minute here. Okay, I'm back. Yes, I was taking a whiz. Okay, catch up with what I missed here real quick. I think according to my house stuff when I bought it, the shop was just about 1,600 square feet. I think that's wrong. A 80 by 100 foot shop would be excellent. It's already getting full in here. If I can move some stuff onto the back porch. My back porch is covered, so I've often thought of putting the steel rack out there and the bandsaw. And I could probably put the drill presses on the back porch and the hard cutting saw, and probably with the cage. I don't think I could put the 100-ton press out there. It might be too tall. But I could put the sandblaster out there. That'd look real nice when I barbecue and entertain guests too. Just to have half my shop equipment on my back porch. But I use those tools more than I entertain. So I think lathe-wise, I think the 22 inch is going to be all I'm going to need for a while. I was looking at shipping containers, but I have a bunch of weird easements on my property, so I couldn't put one in here. I could have out in Benton City, and I should have. Yeah, the sandblaster will probably end up outside. There's nothing to the thing, so it'll be covered. $250-ton 4-post press. I missed it, but they tore down a auto wrecking yard here about a month ago, and someone just went in. They had a big car crusher, which is still there, but there was a big press, and he got it for like nothing. Yeah, carrying stuff around is not fun. Especially getting my back porch takes kind of a jog. I could make my shop longer. The city said I could make it I think 10 foot longer, which that's a lot of to do for 10 foot. Taller would be cool though. That's a good price for a 250-ton press. I've been liking that 100-ton. That thing's been handy. And actually, my Harbor Freight, that 21-ton one from Harbor Freight, that was a perfectly good serviceable unit. The key to I mentioned it in the review video long ago, but you guys that buy those, there's slop in all the bolt holes. It's a night and day difference. Take a square, and when you bolt the thing together, make sure the top braces are, exactly perpendicular to the, it makes a lot of difference. The one thing you have to watch on them is the little 1 inch solid bar part that comes down right below the jack. Make sure that thing is straight. I've had some people buy them and it's off just a little bit. But off just a little bit is too much in a hydraulic press. Oh, sweet. Yeah, not made well. I also changed all the bolts that came with mine, just out of one less thing to worry about. Yeah, I was always going to make one. The thing I need to do with the 100-ton is when I sold my Harbor Freight one, I'd made a bunch of pressing dies with it, little brakes and stuff like that. That I need to make up because the collar piece on the 100-ton has grooves in it, so I could put a piece that'd go in there, and I could put a set screw in, and it would retain. I want to make some bending jigs for it. Oh, okay. I really need to get a bigger arbor press too. The arbor presses go for a lot around here. Or they sell so fast I don't even get a shot at them. A question for you guys too. I'm using a different computer than I was last time. Is the picture any better than it was? Well, I'll take not lagging over picture quality. Oh, and it's smaller? That is interesting. Well, I'll show you guys something. Okay. What's this here? I'm not peeing again. Just grabbing something. Okay, this is I don't know if I showed this last live stream. But this is the tool for making the sight glasses. You can see there's some in there. I made some sight glasses, and this is that cork gasket material for the reed prentices. It uses the same holes. The guy got the lathe from gave this to me. It's very nicely made. Yeah, all you do is take the sheets, and he gave me some of this sheeting and the cork board. He set it in there, and then you just run a drill. I ran a drill through each of these holes. You bolt it on there, just turn it on the lathe. Super easy and super quick. So I will shortly be if anyone needs, I don't know how different sight glasses are between machines. None of my other machines have sight glasses, So, if anyone needs a sight glass that's this size, I can make them. Oh, dimensions. Let me get my caliper right here. What I do is okay. Add one over here. Set it down. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, I'm back. So it goes for this style sight glass. So it says full and level and all that stuff. So these are they're way off. Basically, they're 2.5 inches. And this webcam's backwards. It's got a 2.5 inch diameter. And you could easily make that tool to make any sight glasses, I imagine. Yeah, I thought that was a very nifty idea. So you could put longer screws in here and probably make like a dozen at a time. This lathe has 1, 2, 3, 5 on it, I think. But I'm going to make new ones for the other reed too, because I can. So and when I make those, I won't charge anyone for them. You give me your address, I'll mail you some. I'll mail them to you if you need them. If you need 100 of them, so you can sell them on eBay. No. Oh yeah, the OD doesn't have to be precise at all, as long as it's over the threads to give you some sealing surface. Mine aren't held on with any kind of sealant because it's not pressurized in any way, or to any great degree, rather. Yeah, I thought that was super cool. The guy made a lot of specialty tools for that, knocking out pins. He has some cool machines in his shop. I'm going to see if when I go there to get those honing machines, if he'll let me film inside of his shop so I can show you guys his machines. I don't know if Grizzly's doing that. I know they have a showroom in the Northwest, but I'm not sure where it is. Because I believe when I've ordered stuff from them, it's come from Washington. But I may be wrong on that too. I almost bought one of those 13 by 36 inch benchtop lathes a couple months ago. I don't know why, but it just I got a buddy with a machine shop with bigger machines than I have. And he has one and he uses it all the time for really small stuff. I'll try to, next time I go to where my buddy's shop is, I will see if I can film there because he has some cool machines. But he absorbed a larger shop from a guy that was retiring. He lives about 2 hours from me. Oh, in Bellingham. Okay. I think the Geo 602, I think that's the one I was looking at. It's the one like everyone has. If you watch, I watch other people's machine shop tours all the time, like Jim Schroeder has. I watch a lot of random YouTube videos for machinists. I watch a few of the bigger guys, but 10 by 20. Yeah, I think this one's a 13. It might be 10. The Geo 704, is that the one everyone turns to CNC? That it actually has the dovetail column on it. It's not that bigger round head one, or round column rather. I know there's one of those that everyone turns CNC. My buddy has the square column one, and he just bought the ball screws for it. He didn't go full CNC, but he bought the ball screws and modified it. Oh, good job finishing it up, BS Small Engines. Like I said, turning weld is not usually fun. Oh, good night. Thanks for joining us. Hey, my growth rings is here. Super cool. Hey, Scott, I saw the preview for your video today, but haven't watched it yet. I was having some computer issues here, where it looked like you were doing your video on your steady rest. Oh, I haven't missed much. Just talking machinery. Actually fixed, Scott. That video, a couple videos back, I mentioned I was straightening the tube on my Shopsmith. I got that straightened. It took some time. They really did a number on it. I love the Lawson drawers as well, and the cabinets and the bolt bins. I paid dearly for them, so I certainly love them and love having them. Actually, the Lawson stuff is going to start moving up. They store more things in there. My rep treats me pretty good with his bin fund, so. Tacoma Screw has approached me. My Lawson rep told me that Tacoma Screw, within like a 2-week span, came to almost all of his customers, and did their spiel. I love my Lawson rep. I know, yeah, their stuff's expensive, but I could not ask for better customer service. And yes, having the stuff here is amazing. It's so nice not having to run out to grab stuff. Hey, the thought machine works. Nope, we have fixed the issue. We had to entirely change, I don't know, computer stuff. So whatever's making the computer show this picture, we changed that. And now it's working. Yeah, there's talking machines. Our Fastno guys, they just built 3 new buildings. Well, in the Tri-City area, they built one in pretty much every city. They come to my work all the time. And we have one Granger, and they never send any reps out. The only reason I met my Lawson guy is the water district I work for, he lives in it. I do love their stuff. You cannot beat a lot of their aerosols. That Prism stuff I use and the Open Shut, we go through a lot of different chemical suppliers like United something for work. And a lot of the stuff won't even touch the Lawson stuff. You just can't go get it off the shelf, which is the bummer. You have to order it. Yeah, we haven't got any snow yet, but they're saying it's supposed to get cold next week. It'd be fine with me if it did not snow. Any of you guys work on any good, cool projects this weekend? I have a lot of their Teflon sprays. I know they've changed some. I also use the Snow White and the blue can. You don't have to get up. It's not going to bother me. I don't know what it's called. Tough Gel. I use a lot of the Tough Gel too. And their brake cleaner. I go through cases and cases of brake cleaner. Yeah, working 6 days is no fun. We had a pretty slow day at work. Slow week. So I was able to get up in the shop every day. Are you going to be able to get 3-phase power out there at your shop? Yeah, super cool joining the stream there, Scott. Very super cool. I appreciate you checking it out. And I'll check out your video as soon as I'm done with this. On the three-phase. So we're gonna do phase converters then, or VFDs. Hey, Kentucky Trapper. Oh, American Rotary. I looked at them, and actually, Erstwhile turned me on to a guy that sells very, very reasonably priced phase converters, and he puts a 10-year warranty on the motor and the electricals. I ordered a 40 horsepower one for $2,300. If I could find some VFDs that were cheaper, maybe I just need to look more, because it would be obviously cheaper to run through a VFD than run a 40 horse and then run the other motor. So I'm going to do the two converter thing. I'm going to run the 15 horse for the small stuff and the 40 horse for the bigger stuff. That way, if I'm just running I don't know how much the difference will really be, but if I'm running like my 2 horse hard cutting saw or something like that, I can easily power that with the 15 rather than the 40. Hey, Kentucky Trapper, how was your weekend? Some people piling in from after the game, which I didn't watch any of. I was waiting for, once I get the converter going and the big lathe, I wonder if I'm going to get any suspicious power use inspections. I got one in Benton City. I had my power company reported to me for suspicious power use. That was an interesting day. Oh yeah, that'd be cool to find one. Yeah, I need to build a welding table. I have all the metal, all the other stuff. Just haven't had. I need to decide how big to make it first. Well, at the time I got the power company reported it, they had busted a whole bunch of grow operations in the city I had lived in. So it kind of popped up on the red because I re-eared like 2 backhoe buckets. So I was doing a lot of welding. And then I forget what else I was doing, but my power bill was almost 3.5 times what it normally was in 1 month. So it was the highest residential power bill that the power company had ever given someone that wasn't running a well pump. So it wasn't like a super high, it's just long power use. I reared those buckets with that Lincoln Tombstone I had. So many a pass was made. I remember it was the day after the 4th of July. I had lit off a bunch of fireworks the night before, woke up. There was 2 county deputies parked at the end of you had to take a little dirt road to get to my house. And they were parked there all day, off and on. My neighbor was a retired detective, and he went over there at some point during the day to BS with him, and then he waved me over. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went over there, and he's like, we're just here. Your power company reported you for suspicious power consumption. I'm like, I just got a shop in there. My neighbor told me, like, okay. And that was the end of it. I joked with him when I went and paid him my next bill. It's like, thanks for turning me in. But it'll be interesting to see how much the 40 amp phase converter costs to run. You're running 5 horsepower on a 7.5 converter. Are you running I've heard it matters a lot if you're running a lathe or a mill. Because I know you're supposed to go the route, 2 times as big for your phase converter. But it seems like the only people that have the issues when it comes to that is people running big lathes. I guess because you're taking heavier cuts. Well, I guess it depends what you're doing then. But. And 25 would be a big step up. The 15 horse I have 2 of them. That's a good sized phase converter. I do keep in mind power costs when I'm doing stuff. I like to put a bigger motor on. Well, it's a 5 horse in the 14-inch lathe. The 22-inch reed has a 7.5 horse 50 hertz motor. So I'll probably realistically get a 8.5 horsepower out of it, maybe 8, because you gain a little when you go from 50 to 60 hertz. And the big thing, the biggest amp draw is the big grinder. It has a 5 horse, but the currently wired for 440. At 240, it draws a lot of amps. That has a lot of inrush amps getting those wheels turning. When I start it, I usually spin the wheel by hand a little bit, then make sure my hand is completely out of the way, and then I hit the start button. I need to do some more videos on it. That's good that the legs are balanced. or close. Mine aren't that bad either. They're off by like, with no load, it's off by 15 or less volts. Countertop ice maker started making noise during the ice making cycle. When is it one of those that's plumbed into water permanently? Or there's the ones you add water to? Yeah, it does take quite a bit of amps to get that thing going. And it's kind of spooky when it is running. So, that's a good size motor driver. When I have it all fully wired in, I'll do a big thing on the big grinder. It's not for delicate work. I was worried about it putting braking casters on it, but you almost can't push things into it fast enough for it to put any pressure against the machine. When we fired it up at the auction place, they've had a piece of steel that was about the size of a concrete farm stake, and we just went and it was gone. They're not very they're not very fine wheels. So but yeah, Nitro, I can take a look at your ice making machine. They're pretty simple. There's only a few things it could be. If it's the ones that are permanently plumbed in, there is a pump in them. Really, that's I'd have to look at the inside to see what would make noise. Oh, he says try flushing it. Yeah, that might help. The grinder is quiet. It puts out this weird, like, droning noise. And then you turn it off and the wheel spins for like 20 minutes. And the whole time you're running it, you're hoping nothing gets caught in it. If it was safe to run it without a shirt, I wouldn't wear a shirt. Once I get the transformer, I'll run it 480, and that'll help with the amp draw for the wires I'm going to run to it. I might run some of the other motors 480. I haven't decided yet. Because then I could run smaller wire everywhere. It all depends on if I'm going to do drops and do dedicated plugs. If I do drops, they're going to be hanging drops. I'm too much stuff rolling around on the floor to have cables in the way. Because as much as I love the hydraulic cart, the smallest of pebbles stops it from rolling. Same with putting the grinder on a cart and the surface grinder on a cart, and the Camelback drill press is going to go on a cart. It defeats the purpose of making everything you can roll around if there's cords everywhere. And my press is 240. That's what you got, a pretty small motor for. I guess it's only 100 ton. Hey, Earl. Thanks for joining us. How's your weekend going? Yeah, I'm definitely going to go drop cable drops. Probably off a couple different breakers. I got a 3-phase breaker panel. Yeah, well, when you get VFDs, you can do soft start stuff, and that'd be handy for the bigger uh, amp draw machines at startup. Because I know it's not the safest thing to spin your grinder with your hand before you hit the on button, but it does help with the inrush amps. I was thinking about cable reels too. I have a 3-phase cable thing, but it's only got number 10 wire in it. Might be 12. I think it's 12 actually. Because the good thing is, near the back there where the shops, where the machines are going to be, I can run them in the middle, and things wouldn't have to have long cords to reach up to something. Because I was going to do hard drops with conduit and stuff, I'd just move stuff too much. And I know the second I lay my shop out and go, oh, these are the machines I'm going to have, and that's never going to change, that next day, I will find a machine that I have to have, and then I'll have to move everything for that new machine. That's just the way machines go. Especially lathes. I really need to stop looking for more lathes. But I can't help myself. I'm really, I don't know where my phone is. And check to see if I heard me back about that Lodge and Shipley lathe I looked at yesterday. I use the air compressor hose reels for my welding leads. I guess I could run one of those with one leg of the 3-phase. Oh, I remember his lathe from a long time ago. The one he did a video on looking through it for a card for someone. I used to watch more of his videos. I don't watch his videos hardly that much anymore. Eight lathes is a good number of lathes. Keep a 4-jaw chuck in one, keep a 3-jaw chuck in one, a 6-jaw, a dog plate, a face plate. You don't have to change chucks. It just makes sense. If I was rich, I'd have like 300 drill presses, each with a different bit in it. By 64, letter and numbers. That way I wouldn't have to change drill bits. But those are the dreams of rich men. So. Are they the second op lathes that don't have the tail stalks? Oh, am I adding the stuff to the ice maker? I assume you would add it to the thing. Threading plate for your lathe. You mean just where to put the tumblers and all that stuff? I have a 4-head drill press that has 4 different heads on it, and I need to get rid of it. The motors are super unique to it. They're 440 volt dual, I forget their motors, but they're only made for AV multi-head drilling machines in like a 3-year span. They all work, but the base to that 4-head drill press has been in my possession. It's one of the first machine tools I bought. I took the heads off it like some time ago, 3-4 years, and that's as far as I've got with it. And it's not super practical. It has a number 1 Morse taper in the spindles, which makes no sense for how big the machine is. And yeah, I could take them out and bore them out, and I thought about doing that. But it's an old Navy machine, and there's a guy who knew AVs like really well, and he said the specific version of 4-head I have is like the only one he'd ever seen or heard of. So it makes an excellent table. You can pile a lot of stuff on the table. I was going to make it into a welding table for a while too, but I have the heads and everything too. I just need to put them back on there. The thing is really tall. It takes up a lot of room, but it's a drill press. I do like drill press. I really need a Powermatic variable speed one. I would use that a lot. There's one a quarter mile down the street, sitting behind a building with a metal brake. I'm trying to get my hands on. It's been out there for years, just sitting. You are welcome, Nitra. Yeah, give cleaning it a shot. If it still makes noise, just let me know. For your threading chart, it doesn't look as nice. What I've done in the past, and even on the new read, it's really wore. Take a label maker, and it looks as how you think it would look. And just use the label maker and mark everything, the levers and the numbers, and do that. Because if it's depending on the lathe, you can usually find a picture of the threading chart. Because a lot of manufacturers between years didn't change that very much. Especially if you can pinpoint some of the ones on your chart and relate it to one that you can see the numbers on. Yeah, closings are good ones. It's kind of like the looks of the old Powermatic ones. There was a 2-head closing for sale not too long ago. Guy wanted $3,500 for it, but I would love to have a couple more Camelback drill presses. I love them. But New York is a little far. I'd like to. There's the guy by where that lathe I looked at yesterday. On the same street, he had a smaller Camelback than mine, and a press and a few other things hanging outside his shop. So I might head back there next weekend, and never hurts to knock on the door and see if they have plans for anything. He also had some kind of a tool and cutter grinder out there that was sitting out in the weather. Is it the veritable speed sheave that's wore out on yours? I've heard people say those about them. They're hard to replacements are hard to come by. Oh, okay. I don't actually know what brand my Camelback is. The tag is red, if that helps. It's a little square tag. It is so unbelievably hammered on. I can't make out a single letter on it. There's no discernible marks on any of the castings, and they all kind of look the same. The only thing that's unique I found on mine is it's a power down feed with the 3-cone pulley, and it's the back gears for it, so you actually have 6 down speeds, is pretty unique. So I've been trying to match it up by that. Yeah, parts for those things are high. My Hypermac is a direct copy of a Colchester Triumph 2000, I believe. Is it a Colchester? Yeah, I think, and it has the rainbow dial. Yeah, Colchester Triumph 2000, as I recall. Exact copy. It has all the Whitworth threading on it. And I still didn't get the gears. I have the gears for that. I just need to turn the other gear blank and press the other gears on. Press and pin. I'm going to pin them. Mine's not bad. There's an indication of a lot of shifting gears and stuff while it was coming to a stop. So the teeth aren't the best. Well, the 2 teeth in the gearbox were broken. And it had some field expedited repairs made to the carriage feed. I mean, they weren't. But the ways are good. Everything else looks good. But there's a little, you can tell people were shifting it when it wasn't at a complete stop and stuff like that. There's some lead-in wear on some of the gears from the headstock. I've never cut a Whitworth thread, and I don't think I will ever have to. So that's a nice machine. I need to get it going. I have the place cleared out for it. I need to get it off the. I need to get that gear done because half of my workbench is the apron for that machine, and the gearbox is in all of its gears. So I'll be really referring to that video where I took those 2 gears out to see how it all goes back in. Because the parts manual is very vague. Every gear, it just shows a nondescript gear, various size. So I'm sure I'll get it. Never looked at a lathe on eBay. Well, they're always far away. I will say about that model of lathe is replacement parts are nigh on, especially gears are, unless you're doing what I'm doing to customize gears to make it work. There's two guys on eBay that sell new old stock gears for the Triumphs and some of the Colchesters, and man, does he want a lot for them. $300 a gear for most of the stuff. Still trying to find that spring in the carriage that keeps that handle up. I've been have a million different springs. I can't find the one that's that thick, that's that short with the tension I need. The guy who there, and I could buy one for like $120 for a spring this big from that guy. I tried to trick him. I asked him a question to make sure it was the right spring I needed. So I asked him what was because in the book it's listed as spring. That's how they describe it. So I was asking him, I just need to know the length and the thickness and that to make sure it's the spring I need. And I think he knew what I was getting at because he just never responded. Responded to every other question I had until I asked for the physical dimensions of it. I haven't done much scraping. I have a hand scraper. I don't have a surface plate or anything like that. I'm interested in any more Saber 5 stuff I can find. All I have for my big lathe, I don't even have a drill chuck. I just got a bullnose center, a live center. I think that's it. I mean, I have adaptive sleeves, but if I can not use an adaptive sleeve, I'd like to just go. But a hydraulic spring, I've never thought about going that route. Because the spring is only this long. It has a good deal of tension and has a very short operating range within the carriage. So I will check with my hydraulic shop. I tried to order springs. The thing is, I don't know the dimensions of the spring I'm trying to order, or the tension, or expansion, and all that stuff, which has made it. The unfortunate part is if I get the wrong. It's not a huge deal. Is it because I need an expansion spring with the rings on it. I could put the machine together and put a spring on it. The only thing is if it's the wrong spring, is I have to empty the oil every time and put that bottom square plate back on, which isn't a big thing. And I could spray it with a whole bunch of red grease and run it without the bottom thing in. And it ain't gonna hurt nothing for the little bit, and just have a 1,000 springs and just try how it works. What they did before I got it, it's the handle for the power feed for the carriage, and they would tie it up so it physically cannot pop out. I was gonna order one of those like 18-inch by 18-inch surface plates. I don't do a lot of inspection work. Again, being primarily job shop, I don't do. The only production runs are just drill and tap jobs. I have a pretty big size steel plate I use for some stuff like that. I know it's not surface plate. I know it's not that flat, but for the stuff I do, it gets me by. I'd like to get a bigger one. Oh, the guy in Portland, is that the guy that sells the chucks and stuff too? I was gonna call him to kind of get a feel for his prices on stuff. I know he says he has tons and tons of tooling. Again, that stuff too never shows up at auctions here. I'd buy a used plate. The surface plates probably don't show up for often used in my area because at the auctions, most of the machine shops here are highly, highly competitive. And when they send stuff to auctions of its machines, they usually disable them in some way or damage them in a way that is not apparent. So that's cool. It's a big place. I'd like to go check it out. But again, it's 4 some odd hours away from me. So these prices aren't going to be, if they're going to be super high, what I need to do is find a machine over there and purchase it. So I just have to go to the area anyway. And then go through. So I'd like to get some bigger drills. I'd like to have drills up to about 2-inch taper shank. Because I have 1-inch drill chucks. So that's with adapter sleeve. I like some bigger drills. I do drill some bigger stuff before I bore it. I actually like a nicer live center too. Give some dead centers. Yeah, I think I looked on at Shar's. I know I looked at the one Grizzly sells surface plates too, and they weren't all that really expensive, as I recall. Shipping was a little bit on them, but having the ability to drill up to 4-inch would be cool. I think I think I just go up to 1.25 right now. That makes sense to get them from the same place. I've actually been on lookout at shards for the quick change tool post that holds the threading inserts. But they're always sold out of it seems. At least on a BXA side. Yeah, that's what I do. If I've had to drill some 3-inch holes in a couple things, I just drill and bore. What? Let me check what time it is real quick. Okay. Oh, it's not as late as I thought. I would be willing to see what you got there, Kentucky Trapper, and pay for some shipping, of course. That stuff just I'd have to pay if I buy it from you or buy it from a place. I have to pay shipping anyway because that stuff doesn't show up here. The tool holders for you mean the slot size in them, Rick? There's a place that makes grave markers. It did my plate because it's really. That's interesting. Wonder how flat they can make a tombstone. There's an idea. You know, the shovel, but till it's nighttime. Let me see. Let's go check. Let me go measure that real quick. They are 1 inch. Actually, it's a CXA holder. I keep getting my holders mixed up. Good luck with the teaching, and thanks for joining us again. Come in. Always awesome to have people here. I'll probably be on for another half hour or so. I need to eat before I disappear. Yeah, service place is definitely something I need to do some more research on and look at. But again, I wouldn't want to. Of course, I would want a huge one, but practically speaking, for what I use, 18 to 24 inch would be fine. I can tuck that away. My big thing with it would be I'd have to have a cover on it because I'm terrible at setting things on things that are flat. So it would be a table. Unless I made it, I would make a stand so it slid right under my workbench. It only left like a 1/4 inch gap, so I couldn't possibly set things on it. That'd be the only way I wouldn't set things on it. Because then if I ever do a video with it in the background, I'd take all the stuff off it so I don't have to listen to people complain about me putting stuff on my Surface plate. And I haven't done any lapping, well, except for valves and stuff like that, but making surfaces flat, I've never really done much of that. It interests me. Scraping in machines kind of interests me. I've been taught how, but haven't done it in forever. That it would take me forever. Because there's one spot on the ways on the big lathe, because I have to do all of it. That's a big to do. What I do with it, it's going to be fine. You'd be sometimes surprised, Kentucky Trapper. I used to be big into selling parts for military vehicle engines, like starters and heads sometimes. And if you don't care how long it takes to get somewhere, you can get a lot shipped for $100. So, and of course, depending how much tooling, cost for tooling and stuff. I've had to pay for everything that gets shipped here that I've had shipped. So. Don't mind paying a lot in shipping. So does it have to be fully scraped? You're going to have to scrape in all the ways, and the tailstock, and the carriage, and even the underneath of the headstock, I assume. I like to scrape stuff in. I don't have time for a lot of very time-consuming product. I wish I did. Eh, 259 pounds. That's not crazy heavy. I've ordered engine blocks not way back in the day, but 8-9 years ago, and had them delivered UPS. I mean, it's not $20, but it's not crazy. Thanks for joining us, Rick. Much appreciated. Now, okay, question here when it comes to the flame hardening. I have a acquaintance who has a small lathe. It's probably only, man, the camera, about 18-inch bed. He was going to try to harden the ways himself with a cutting torch. I um, don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, the lathe is already trashed, but as an experiment, he's going to try to make the ways harder on it himself. I'm not sure how they harden them. Yeah, when I had my stuff shipped, they shipped it. There's a bunch of businesses I do stuff for, and I just had it shipped to there. The last thing I ordered that was super heavy was about 400 pounds, and I just had them delivered to a place with, delivered to any place with a loading dock. See ya, Kentucky Trappers. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, if you can palletize stuff, it makes it a lot easier. Something that weighed 250 or 300 pounds of tooling would be preferably made into a wooden crate. That's cool. Was it expensive to have it hardened? And could one just take a lathe bed there and have it hardened? Because from what I understand, the ways on the reeds aren't hardened for two different things. But the ways on the 14-inch are immaculate. There's still scraping marks in them. That thing has like no use. So if I could have them hardened, and for how little I have in that machine, I'd be willing to pay, a bit of money to have that done. Because then I would never wear that machine out. I probably won't wear it out now, but if it's like $3,000, I don't know if I'm that interested in it. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't need to have mine ground. I mean, it's good. I'll have to look into that. I don't know if any place locally is that the kind of business that's all they do is harden stuff. I've never actually given it any thought, really. I was gonna have the table on the vertical head drill press or vertical milling machine has some pretty good gouges in it. I was gonna send it out to get fixed up. I was gonna have the machine shop in the area put it on their big horizontal and do it. I think I'm just gonna do it on mine. It it's got so many deep grooves in it, it can't be made worse. So that might be interesting. Let's take light cuts. It'll fit on the horizontal. Then I can put on the small surface grinder, do like an eighth of it at a time. Keep moving it. I'm sure I won't get any comments on that. Yeah, I got some Should be a video out every day this week. I know you guys are probably getting tired of seeing the Reed's put together stuff, but I have to get it done. I need it out of the way so I can bring the other projects in here. I got money jobs coming this week, so I need to get the apron done, and also because I'm going up to that guy's place. He lives about an hour and a half from here. Going up to his place next weekend or so. So if I'm missing any parts, I need to know. So when I go up there, I can see if we can find them. But really, I think 2 more days of assembly, and this will be where I can move it out of the way. And to move it, I have to move the drill presses, all my cutting storage, the grinder, 2 lathes, a saw, and the base of the 4-head drill press, and that. So it's going to be a to-do to get it back there. It'll look nice back there. I like the lathe stuff too, and then especially because I couldn't find anything online for this lathe, I feel like it might help someone to show more piece by piece, if you know what I mean. It's not like this is a Craftsman 618 where there's 100 bazillion of them. You can find anything you need on reassembly. I literally could find nothing. So if someone can learn something from that, then that's super cool. Yeah, we've been on here for 2 hours and 43 minutes, so right at 3, I'll call it a day. So 15 more minutes. Combined with the hour of 45 minutes of wasted time the first live stream was. This is much better. It's windy outside. Yeah, hopefully I get a call on that Lodge and Shipley lathe. That'd be it's cool looking lathe. It's rough. It's very rough. But it'll be another restoration project. Yeah, I see some Ford posts on them. I stay clear of practical machinists for most stuff. I mean, I read some stuff on there. The people on there aren't shy about dogging on your stuff. So some posts are handy there. But the way they talk about the reeds, the first pass you take, you'll gouge the ways completely down to nothing, and you'll break every gear in the headstock. So. Yeah, Lodge and Shipley's, I had a big Lodge and Shipley about the same size that Keith Rucker used to use in his early videos at that museum. One with all the levers on the headstock. I like that machine. I like Lodge and Shipley's. Yes, they're very quick to tell you that your stuff is garbage. Unless it's a Monarch or an American Pacemaker and something like that. I need to catch up on my YouTube videos this week too, as far as watching. I don't watch that many people anymore. Yeah, I know the Navy bot. My buddy who knows Navy, he says, yeah, I have a lot of Lodge and Shipleys. And they'll tell you on Practical Machinists that the only good Lodge and Shipleys left are sitting at the bottom of the ocean. So he said, those are the only ones that aren't. No, I used to watch probably 10 or 20 different YouTube guys. I watch 6 or 7 now. I watch a lot of one-off videos. There's not many people I watch every video they put out. I watch all Brian's videos. I think he is a very, very underwatched YouTube channel as far as machinist stuff goes. I like how he puts the part in the machine and gets to work fixing it. Doesn't have 2 videos showing you the setup he did, and then the 2 videos of him doing it. I watch a lot of what's he called? Precision Machine Sheds videos. He doesn't put them out very often anymore. He's been pretty busy, but they're interesting. I liked Mike Reggae too. He stopped putting out videos a couple years now. He did some interesting work. Yeah, we got Reed Prentice videos this week, a welding video this week. Maybe doing some wiring for the DP220. That'll be this week. I got a different switch. I'm gonna go ahead and put a different on-off switch in it. And yeah, we'll find something else to do. As you saw, I don't know if you watched today's video, where I was drilling a hole in a glass bottle. I was helping my mom do some craft projects. So thought someone might find that interesting. Yeah. And hopefully next weekend we'll be getting another machine of some kind. We'll see. It depends how the weather is supposed to turn here too. I don't have a real desire to go out in real bad weather to pick stuff up. I can wait. I got stuff to do to keep me busy until then. The gear is supposed to be here. It's supposed to be delivered Thursday, I think. The tilting head gear. I'll probably check in with it tomorrow. Stuff has just been taking forever from eBay. That's where I got it from. Because I want to get that done. Then all I got to do is that gear has 2 holes in it. The one I have is 3. So I just have to drill 2 holes into it, which shouldn't be that bad. Mount it up there, and from my measurements, not knowing exactly what the new gear was, it should bolt right up. Because I need to get that head off the floor. And I need to get that mill running. My buddy's probably tired of me using his mill for when I need to, but on Converse, he has me do jobs for him while I'm there using it. So it's a win-win. Yeah, I got stuff to make gears too. That gear was just super It was real cheap. It was like $18. So that's worth it to me. Plus, I knew I didn't need it for a couple weeks. I do have a couple keyway jobs I'll probably use the vertical mill for. I can hook up and run my horizontal mill temporarily the way it is. I'm still deciding on the drive I'm going to do for it. I don't want to use that truck transmission if I don't have to. I just want more options for cutting speeds. So I have a checklist of stuff I'm hammering out. So the first thing I need to hammer out is get the 22-inch lathes back together. So I get to the back of the shop, because then I can reorganize. I already moved the other reed to its final position for now. But once I get this back there, I can move all the machines to where they're going to be. And if I get more machines, they're just going to go in the middle until late summer. I'll get them powered up and everything. And then late summer, if I get 4 or 5 new machines, I'll borrow a forklift and clear everything out and do it again. I'm not gonna move stuff every time I get anything. I get stuff too much. New machines way too much. So, but that's gonna help putting the stuff on carts too. Like I got the surface grinder on a cart, and the big grinder will be on a cart, and the sandblaster will be on a cart, and the Camelback drill press will be on a cart. So that'll help tremendously with stuff like that. Because then I could, there's a hill a little bit from my house. I could push the 24-inch grinder to the top of the hill and probably be the first person to ride a 24-inch grinder down a hill on a cart. Maybe get the grinder on a cart and then the surface grinder on a cart with some people, and we could joust from them. See, I have lots of clever ideas. That goes to, that's why I'm going to get all the cords up with drops. Because if everything's going to be on wheels, I don't want more cords. So. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. I need to eat, and that's pretty much the main thing. I need to eat. So we've been on here for 3 hours. Again, thanks everyone for watching. Super cool. Thanks everyone for subscribing and watching the videos and all that stuff that you guys do. It's all very, very much appreciated. We will be here next Sunday at 5. And now that I got this new programming thing to do that, shouldn't be a problem. So you guys have a good week. Please check out the videos during the week, and we will talk to you later.